Hey there, I'm Juan Francisco, and I'm a psychic medium. I'm here with you to explore your intuition, the supernatural, and self-empowerment. This is Third Eyesight. I can't believe it's mid-April. How is this year flying by so fast? It's just... And my birthday isn't just over a month, and I can't believe that is already coming up soon as well. And I'm excited because I'm turning 33 this year, and I love the sound of two threes together. I have not been this excited about my birthday in a very long time. I usually enjoy my birthday, but I like the number 33 a lot, and I love number 3. But anyways, I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're managing given all the circumstances of things going on in the world, in the country of the United States. There's just a lot to be thinking about, a lot to be concerned about. Maybe for some, there's a lot to be joyous about. And I respect you feeling that way. But there are a lot of feelings in the air right now, a lot of feelings out there. And now more than ever, it's important to really center ourselves in what's important to us and go in that direction. And if that's related to what's going on, then so be it. So really center yourself and ask yourself, what is important to me? And how about going in that direction? I wanted to focus today's podcast episode, though, on something that recently happened in my psychic reading world. And it left me feeling a bit disappointed, and not disappointed in anybody in particular. Maybe a little disappointed in myself, but even then, I'm having grace with myself because I know I did my best. And this podcast is about having an honest conversation about psychic abilities and the experiences I have with that. And I only hope for the guests that I bring on to also share honestly about their experiences. So in the spirit of that honesty and transparency, here's this episode. So recently I had a reading with someone I call a friend, and she had a reading with me several years ago because her partner had passed. It was a mediumship reading, and I've been channeling her partner in almost every reading that we have together. And she had been in a new relationship in the past year. And it was a relationship that moved very fast. They fell in love very quickly, and she seemed very happy. So I thought. And a couple months ago, we had a reading, and I channeled her partner who had passed, and I really, really felt her partner saying to her, I sent this guy your way. And the reason, I should say, the reason she wanted this reading, it was kind of a dual reading, mediumship / psychic card reading, is that she was doubting her relationship. And I remember telling her, you have to decide what's best for you. And I do feel that I told her that I felt her partner did send this guy her way. And what for, just don't focus so much on, I'm pretty sure, because, for folks who have had readings with me, you know that I forget the content of my readings very easily, unless it's something that truly stands out as very unique. I forget the details of my readings, but I know, just knowing myself as well as I do, I know that I told her, this person was sent your way, but don't focus on the longevity or hope for the long term, but don't focus on the future. Focus on the now and what you can learn in this relationship right now. I know I said something to that effect because that's just who I am. That's what I believe. And so a couple months later, I was having a catch up with this person because this person has been a friend for a very long time, for longer than I have been doing readings. And she told me that she was really struggling staying in this relationship. It just wasn't making her happy. She wasn't happy in it. And I didn't realize how unhappy she was in it, to the extent of it, only based on what she told me in our psychic reading a few months prior, but not to the level that she was now sharing that she was unhappy. And she was sharing with me some details about the relationship. I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do here, but as your friend, this is a little troubling. And I want to be very clear before I keep going that I do readings for friends and family, except my immediate family, because it's so close to them. But I do readings for friends and family with whom I'm not in constant contact with. They live in other cities or what have you. Or I don't know as much about those newer friends, let's say. And the readings I do for friends, I'm happy to do them for my friends. So I want to be very clear that I don't think there's anything wrong with me doing readings for friends and family members, as long as there's that understanding like, hey, I know a lot about you and I'm biased because I'm your friend. So I'm trying here in this reading to be unbiased. So when she's telling me about this update in her relationship, more recently, I'm telling her, look, as your friend, I feel this way, but I also, as your friend, don't want to tell you what to do here. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because as a psychic, I can tell a friend, I want to tell a friend what feels to be for their highest good and not my opinion. So she told me, when you said, Juan, that my partner who passed sent this person my way, that's what made me want to stay in this relationship, because I thought maybe it meant that this person's the one. And when she said that, I got so disappointed in myself. And I kind of went over in my head, like, I know I would have said something to her. Like I know I said something to her, like, this doesn't mean this is your forever person. This just means that they're meant to be in your life right now. And so I told her, I didn't say that immediately. I responded to her saying this with, if I ever gave the impression that you needed to stay in this relationship because your partner sent this person your way, I'm really sorry. That is not, I don't remember well the reading, but I know that is not something that I would have wanted to come across, because that's not what this is about. That's not what that message was about. This person is meant to be in your life for a reason. It could be a season or a lifetime, but they're meant to be in this lifetime with you for a reason. And she totally understood. And I'm very grateful that she understood. And I told her I really feel bad. I told her I feel really bad. And that's not what I meant. And she said that it was totally fine, and that she understands. She understands. And it got me thinking, I maybe want to really do an episode on this topic, because number one, again, I'm in the spirit of being transparent. I am not perfect. But at the same time, I know that in that reading, I must have said something about, and I'll say this to any client, that if I'm telling you that someone's meant to be in your life, it doesn't mean they're your soulmate. There are people with whom we don't get along that we'll know for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then they part ways. That person was meant to be in your life for a reason. That person was meant to be there to teach you something about yourself. And the same goes for romantic relationships. And I wanted to talk about the fact that psychics are guides. We're not God. And it's important to take, most of the time, what psychics say with some sort or a few grains of salt. And that's going to sound very contradictory coming from me, a psychic. Because I'm telling you not to believe everything a psychic says. Or it may sound that way to you, but that's not what I should explain myself more. A psychic is meant to be a guide. A psychic is not meant to know all the answers. And a psychic can say things the wrong way or interpret something wrong. And it's up to you to really feel what sits right with you when a psychic is talking to you. If a psychic says something and it makes you feel uncomfortable, but like there's work to be done, that's different than saying or hearing something from a psychic that makes you feel uncomfortable and violated. That's different. So that's a good example of that happens. Psychics, sometimes, some psychics have such big egos that they'll say anything and it'll be very offensive and violating. And then someone who doesn't, a client or a sitter who still has some more self-love work to do may take that information, take it to heart, and then see themselves as the crazy one, or the one has the person who has a lot of issues, and the psychic is right and everything they're saying is correct, and where in fact it's the psychic who is really taking advantage, or is not taking advantage, but is so unconsciously being mean, doesn't know how to communicate. That's just one example of why it's important to see psychics as guides, not as God. As people whose work it's important to take their work sometimes with a grain of salt. Because at the end of the day, you are your best own psychic. We're just the outside mirror reflections of knowledge your soul already has. We're just trying to help you get it, help get it out of you for you to see in front of you. It's a tough topic because here I'm having this reading and telling somebody that their partner who's passed sent this person their way, and they interpret it as, oh, this is my soulmate then, if my partner who's passed, who's on the other side, sent this person my way. And even though I know that I must have said something to disclaim that's not what it means, it's still reminding me that I could do a better job, that I could be clearer and share those disclaimers. It's kind of like when I tell people that I won't diagnose them when it comes to their health, that if I feel something in a part of my body or see something in a part of my body, I will share what I'm seeing and feeling, but I will not tell you what that thing is. I will not tell you it's COVID or cancer or diabetes. I will not tell you that because it's not my business to do that. And that's very dangerous territory because I could really scare somebody when I could be wrong. Whereas the feeling that I'm getting is accurate. But if my brain starts to interpret that as, oh, that's diabetes, and then I scare this person, that's not very fair. That's pretty cruel of me, I believe. The same goes for any other topic, especially romance. Romance is such a for many people, it's a very heavy and very loaded topic. And I'll honestly say and admit that even though I feel like I made the proper disclaimer in that reading for this friend, I'm going to take this as a very good lesson and a reminder to do better, to be even clearer. Because I'm human. And I need to recognize my humanity and my imperfection and the way that my brain may sometimes step in and make something out of, make a lot out of something simple, or make something out of nothing. Because as a psychic, what's great about continuing to practice as a psychic and never stopping the practicing is we're learning to get out of our own way. We're learning to not try to think of something to say to a client. That's not what it's about. It's about letting go and letting things flow. Getting out of our own way. Not letting our brain do a lot of the work. And I don't know how that works scientifically, but that's just, I'm not a scientist. I know that when I channel, what I feel is myself not trying to think too hard. I feel myself letting go and just receiving. That's how it works for me. And so as psychics, we owe our clients years of practice, a lot of practice. We need to keep practicing, because if we get in our own way and if we tap too much into the thinking quadrant of ourselves, we may just give the wrong impression to a client about a topic. We may tell a client, this is your soulmate. And yet the client is in a relationship with this person who is cruel to them. Like, why would we make such a definitive statement about something? So it's so tricky, because as psychics, we want to trust our intuition. We should trust our intuition and just say what we feel. And maybe it's about continuing to do that, but then also, so there's the first step of getting out of our own way, getting out of our brains. And then the second step is if we say something like, oh, this person you're with, they're your soulmate. And then the client says, well, actually, I'm really not in love with them, and they're actually pretty mean to me, and I'm getting over it, but I don't know how to leave. Then change course. Then think, okay, am I interpreting something wrong here? Why am I saying soulmate? Why did I say the word soulmate? And then asking ourselves, okay, maybe when I felt something about a soulmate connection, maybe it's just that this person, you have a soul bond with this person, but in this lifetime, maybe it is opportune for you to take control of this bond or do what you need to do to feel safe, because you've had different lifetimes together. That's why I'm seeing this soul bond between you two. You have different lifetimes, and in this lifetime, you are learning how to take some authority within this relationship, fair authority, and speak up for yourself, or to keep yourself safe and do what you need to do to keep yourself safe and not let them do whatever they want to do with you. End quote. maybe that is the proper approach. And that is a very good example, another example that I want to share, that I am sharing with you, that psychics need to learn how to put their ego aside. I could have easily told my friend, oh, well, I this is just what I got, and if it's not making sense for you, then maybe you're just not loving this person enough. Or I could be that person if I wanted to, but I'm not, because it's not who I am. And it's also, again, I keep using the word cruel. That's the word of the day. It's incredibly cruel, because it does not regard that person's life experience in any way, and it doesn't regard our own humanity as psychics, that we are imperfect. We can get things wrong. We are guides, not God. And I think at the end of the day, too, what it really comes down to is you have to, in your own spiritual journey, forget psychics, okay? Psychics are a bonus. Psychics are bonus experiences you can have and purchase or have access to. On your own, the goal of your journey, I personally believe with all of my heart, is to learn how to live in a state of empowerment, living an empowered life, living a life in which you may go to a psychic, several psychics, and they'll tell you things, and then you ask yourself, does that sit right with me? Am I going to make a decision based on what that psychic told me? Does it feel right to me? That's what matters. Psychics are guides. Guides. It's like when people read the Bible to get some life lessons from it. But not many people read the Bible to then stop eating shrimp because it said so in the Old Testament. Or not many people read the Bible, and because I believe it was St. Paul in the New Testament says that short hair on women is an abomination, that a woman who's reading the Bible is then going to grow her pixie haircut into long hair. Like these are just these are rules in the Bible, right? And not everyone lives by those rules, but the Bible for many is a guide, a signpost, not always a directive. Not everyone follows the Bible 100%. I like to meet people who do. It's a guide. It's divinely inspired. Psychics are divinely inspired. Now, before anyone tells me, oh, Juan, you're equating psychics to the Bible, how dare you? All of this is divinely inspired. And the Bible is a wonderful book. The Bible has a lot of wisdom in it. And the Bible has a lot of rules in it that don't make sense at the same time. And that's okay. Human beings are complicated, and the things humans create can be complicated and beautiful and weird. Psychics, just like you, can be complicated, and we have to work through that to get ourselves out of our own way. So at the end of the day, it's about empowering yourself. It's about empowering yourself to make a decision, an informed decision, not relying on a psychic to make that decision for you. A psychic is there to guide you as you make your decision. You're making an informed decision. You are the CEO of your life. I feel like that's a book or a podcast. CEO of your life. You are. You are the head honcho. You're the boss in your life in terms of how you want your life to look. Who you want your main players to be, who you want to be in communication with, connection with. That's all up to you. Don't let a psychic make all those decisions for you. Go to a psychic to get the information, to get the context, to get the inspiration. But then you make the decision. You make the decision. And as psychics, we should always be doing a better job and always improving how we communicate. That's our job. Because we hold your hopes and your dreams and your worries in our hands. And there's nothing more upsetting to me than when psychics take on this role and completely shit on people, make them feel terrible, all for the purpose of making them, the psychics, feel superior, wise. I've seen that happen before, and it's terrible, and it's why psychics get a bad rap. So that's our work as psychics, is to keep improving how we communicate, keep improving how we interpret the information that's coming to us, so that we give you a clear direction or guidance so that you can make that informed decision. That was very vulnerable of me, I have to admit. And I've had some folks who listen to this podcast say that they appreciate how vulnerable I get. Not gonna lie, I feel a little nervous about this episode, and I said that before about many episodes in the past, but I feel a little nervous because I am totally admitting to possibly miscommunicating something in a reading that had a ramification, that's no small deal to me. To my friend, it doesn't seem like a huge deal based on her saying that, when she told me, it's okay, don't worry. That's exactly how it sounded like and how it came across. And it seemed like it's not a big deal to her. But to me, I guess maybe I'm hard on myself, but it is a big deal to me. And even though I know I know deep in my heart that I must have said what I needed to say to make that disclaimer about that message about her then current boyfriend, it still got me feeling like, God, I don't want to set someone up for trouble or for chaos like that. That's not okay. It's not fun. It's not nice. It's not decent. And even though I do feel confident that I did the best that I could, that I did the right thing, I'm still going to keep doing better. I still want to do even better. And I guess that's what counts, is admitting where I have fallen short and aiming to do better. Whew. Well, I'm curious if any of you have had, if you want to share an experience with a psychic who told you something and you were, that you made a decision based on what that psychic told you, and it totally like blew up in your face, or it totally was not the right decision to make, and you learned that psychic was really kind of, I don't know, full of it, for lack of a better phrase. If you have any stories you want to share that you feel comfortable sharing, because it's not always comfortable to share those stories, and you want to share them, and I'm happy to read them on the podcast, because I think this is a good learning experience. We have to be very conscious of how human psychics are, and I want to keep driving that point in all the work that I do, while also saying, yes, we are channels for the divine, but so are you. Yes, we are channels for wisdom, and so are you. And we are human. So send me your stories if you'd like me to read them on the podcast, because I think it's important to share those learning lessons, especially as clients, those of you who are clients for psychics. So send them to me at juan@juanfranciscospirit.com, or DM them to me on Instagram, TikTok, etc., etc. Thank you for listening. Please remember, you have the power within you. All you need is the information, and you make the decisions to lead an empowered life and to live a life of empowerment and self-awareness. Love you all. Have a great day. Hey, are you liking the supernatural and self-empowerment talk? Then follow the podcast and please leave a review. If you want me to talk about a specific subject on the podcast, or you have a question for the podcast, go to juanfranciscospirit.com and go to my contact page and submit that question.